We are back again, and we are looking at object still. Object is quite an elaborate topic in JavaScript, and it's so important. So today we are looking at Object.create method. Remember in the past we have looked at creating object with object literal, and yeah, we're looking at Object.create method, and we also look at constructor method as well. So in my line 252, you can see that I'm declaring a variable there, let keyword, and I'm calling the variable name new box. And inside this variable name, I'm assigning object.create in bracket null to it on line 252. So with this object.create method is what we use to create an object. Now this is an object constructor, and we're using the create method to create object in it. You can see my drop down here that creates an object that has specified prototype or that has null prototype. In this case, we are not specifying a prototype, we're specifying a prototype that has null. Alright, so if we do this, we are passing null to it. We are not giving it any prototype. We said there is no prototype. Hence, it is null. And once we do this and console log, you discover that it is an empty object. Yes, look at our console here. You can see that it's an empty object, no properties inside. So that is object.create. You created an object. You can see the object literal symbol here, curly braces, open and closed. And here we have object.create null. But if I will try to view it on the browser, definitely that won't be possible. That won't be possible because it's null, it's empty, it's zero property. So it's not displayed on the browser. Instead, it threw some errors on the console here. You can see cannot convert object to primitive value. It's an object but cannot convert it to primitive value. Hence, it cannot be displayed on the browser. But if you want to display it on the browser, then we have to stringify on line 254. Line 254. We have to get rid of this line 253. And here we go. We have stringify it. JSON.stringify and passing it the new box. And hence, here is our new box here. Empty object. Same as what we saw in the console. Alright, but if you want to create an object without a null, you want to pass a null value, what do? We have to pass a prototype to it. Remember what is a prototype? So we uncomment this. Here, the same new box again, but new box 1, a different variable name. And we're using same object.create method. And we're passing it our prototype, object.prototype. So if you remember what's our prototype in our previous class, it's like a plan, a design, a blueprint, a design, which of course in engineering, before construction is made, there is need for design. Design is very important. You have a blueprint to follow. You have a design to follow. And once that design is there, 1,000 objects, 1,000 products, 1,000 creation of that particular design can be made. 1 million can be made from the design. So in this place, in JavaScript, we're also creating an object. But before creating an object, we need to have a prototype, a design to follow. And here, there's an inbuilt design. And every class of object works with this prototype. And here is my object here as a second argument passed to the object.create here with value. And here's our prototype. Then if I console log this new boss, it gives me, you can see it here, it creates an object for me and passes me. So to just create this, we have to do all this with object.create. But remember, when we're using object literal, we don't have to create all this. We just go directly by creating this itself. That's just a different object.create is a different method of creating an object. But a shorter syntax is just going on your console, on your VS Code, and just do something like this, and you have created the object. So in this class, we're seeing other ways of creating an object. The benefit of this is that what object.create is that you have the opportunity to define your prototype, define the design you want to use, the blueprint you want to use. There are many blueprints and there are many constructors in your project, and you want to create a particular object, but don't want to use the default blueprint. You have a blueprint you want to use. You have a prototype you want to use. That is when you use object.create so that you can have control over the blueprint, the prototype you want to use. That is the benefit of using object.create method. But otherwise, if you want a default blueprint, you can as well use it, passing this object.prototype, or you can as well just create your object literal, just like on this line, this thing, and pass your values and properties inside, just like on line 50, 251 rather. All right, so you can see it here. I created it here. Also, we can create it just like this, and we'll have our object without going through this long process of object.create, assigning prototype, running the object constructor, and all that. All right, if that is settled, we can proceed. But before we proceed, uh, there's opportunities here, if you remember, in this value to pass some attributes to this list, like writable, writable attribute, setting it to false. We have treated this before, or true as the case may be, and enumerable property also is all here, setting it to true. You have the opportunity to do that. That's what makes object.create more robust. Or configurable property, setting to object to true as the case may be, or false as the case may be. You just have more control with object.create to define the nature of the object you want to create. So that's just the good side of object.create. All right.